Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Now, there's not too many more of these, just last two, but I think they're just quite important because this one leads into the last one, where he talks about this situation with this party being a party or not being a party, whether it's just a distraction bomb to distract from what they're really trying to, I suppose, hide from you, in a way. And it's quite an... I don't think it gives too much away on where he's leaning to on this, but I think But I think in the last video you'll get what he's trying to get at. And this is basically asking, is all this stuff just a distraction bomb?
So this is how this week went. Just 3 days ago, 3 short days ago, it seems like an epoch, surgeon out of Scotland told employers that if they had staff working from home at the start of the pandemic, they should let them do so again until the middle of January. That's what Nicola Sturgeon said on Tuesday this week. The SNP leader said that there had been more than a 10-fold increase in Omicron over the last week. Oh, my cron, we're all going to die, she said. She didn't say that. She said, to be blunt, if you had staff working from home at the start of the pandemic, please now enable them to do so again. She said, I know it's difficult, but I cannot stress enough how much difference we think this could make in helping stem transmission and avoid the need for even more onerous measures. Onerous. Great word, that. Even better in a Scottish accent. There's onerous and there's onerous. See? Better. She also urged Scots to follow the rules. She said, I am not excluding myself from this, which sounded like a slap at Bodger to me. So the Scottish leader said the good people of Scotland should work from home. And what did the English government say to that? They said... No, 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 no. They said that on Tuesday. This week. They said no in response to Nicola Sturgeon extending Scotland's work-from-home guidance until mid-January. Downing Street said that's not our position on Tuesday. The PM's official spokesman said our position remains as set out, with the limited number of restrictions that we have introduced so far, which at the time were no restrictions at all, other than wear a mask when you're on the bus, and that's about it. And then came the laughing Allegra. That video of the dear leader's disseminator-in-chief in that £3 million Trump-style briefing room, and she was preparing to meet the press by having the staff ask her questions that journalists might ask at the real briefing later on. And much hilarity ensued as she was asked about the party, and then they spitballed around ideas as to how to get out of answering that question. Spitballed! And I imagine that came as a surprise to many people, that the dear leader's spokesmodel would practice the answers that the regime would want, rather than just come out and tell the truth. You remember the truth, don't you?
No.
So they have a run-through. And the staff ask her what they think she will be asked, and they concoct replies to get them out of a scrape. And I bet when people saw that, they thought, is that what happens? Rather than, come out and tell the truth. And here's the news. MPs do that too. Whenever a minister's number is up, they get trained to answer questions that in a way that the regime wants. They don't just go on TV and say what happened or what they think. They memorise responses and then they repeat them until their time on that programme is up, and then they can go off and do the next interview. That's why they all sound the same. That's why they keep saying the exact same things over and over again, regardless of what the question is, because they've learnt the responses before they go on TV. And I bet that most people don't actually know that. It's a con job. They are deliberately conning us by rehearsing answers to questions that might show them in a bad light. They don't tell the truth. They tell us what they've been told to say. Liar! Exactly. So the position of Johnson's government was that on Tuesday they were rubbishing the suggestion of working from home, as advised by the Scottish First Minister. And then that video of the guffawing spokesmodel came out, which really put a hole in Bodger's boat. And it was all hands on deck, and a massive distraction was needed. And as we couldn't declare war on Russia in the time available, he did a swift pirouette and decided that actually, you know what, maybe we should all be made to work from home. And then the press was all after that story instead. By the way, would Bodge look like the hippos in Fantasia if he attempted a swift pirouette? I've got a pretty vivid mental image of that. How about you? Next time he raids up the dressing-up box for a photo opportunity, we should insist he wears the lace tutu. It's to you, Bodge. And the day after number 10 rubbished the idea of working from home, it was magically full-on in favour, and that was our new guidance. Perfect distraction bomb. Honestly, you could not make it up. And then Bodge's current wife had a baby. Almost as though that had been planned 9 months ago to take our mind off this catastrophic clown show. And if that doesn't work to stop us talking about the regime's criminality and corruption and the way they are literally laughing at us while we suffer, then don't fret, Bodge, because pretty soon the life raft of Christmas will be along to take the mind off. And if that doesn't work, he'll only have to wait till the Queen dies, and then he'll really get a pass, because the papers will be full of nothing else for at least 2 weeks, and we'll forget all about this. And more people than me say this is a cynical distraction technique, and it might be, but maybe it's a bigger distraction than it first appears. Maybe there's layers of distraction, like the film Inception. Did you see Inception? Did you understand it?
No.
I've seen it twice and I still don't get it. Maybe I should try watching it backwards. So I'll talk about what the thing that people haven't been talking about, which is probably is certainly more important than did they or did they not have a party. And it's probably the most important thing that's actually happening at the moment, but no one is talking about it because they have been distracted by the things that the government is trying to distract us from. But they may actually be one step ahead of us, playing three-dimensional chess, they are. While we're all stuck playing, Cluedo. They're on a whole different dimension. Because there's something really alarming that's happening that, and at this point, it would not surprise me more than just a little bit if the whole Partygate thing was actually deliberate in order to take our minds off what's actually happening. So I'll get into that in a while.
Yeah. And as I say, when it comes to the last video that I was doing, yes, I think he might have a little something. Even though I still think he might be a little bit over conspiracy theory for me, but I can understand where it comes from because what he talks about next is pretty frightening. But anyway, I shall leave that until the next video. Until that time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.